Now, as far as Impact, we were talking about obviously them making a difference, them doing all these shows. Are they, and I know we love to talk about this, are they the number three? Because I kind of tend to lean GCW, but could Impact be number three?
Yeah, John, you're right. Like, I think last week we were sort of like we had four in that contention, and we quickly shed the other two. But it is comes down to that Impact versus GCW. Impacts, like, to speculate on their profitability is like very complicated, because I see it sort of like as almost like a mini WCW, like Turner type situation, because for the most part, especially like, or I would say like their major tentpoles are, especially domestically, it's they're the like a subsidiary along with other subsidiaries of Anthem, of the parent. So right, so they're producing content for Access TV, for the Fight Network, and for Game Plus, and those are all Anthem owned properties. Or they're doing it for their own like internal means, like Impact Plus or their YouTube channel, um, those sort of things. So it's hard to tell like what is how much like are you getting in your budget for that, and sometimes it's a little bit of an accounting thing. But Scott Demore had said that they're open sort of to explore additional means of distribution in the U.S. Now they have the Fight Plus and the Zone, depending on the market. They have some international, over the air. But I'd say like the most important aspects is probably Access TV. But I think their YouTube presence is really, really strong, even though, the payouts per view isn't very much. They have such a huge catalog, and like talking about Hulk Hogan, right? Like that probably still gets them views. Like when people look up Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Sting, and so on. So that's their model. Whereas like going on the road is kind of a cost to them. Um, Whereas GCW is really so different in that they, as we talked with Brett Lauderdale, um, unless it's the right television deal, it's just like, it's not worth it, quote unquote, to them, which makes a lot of sense. Like, because every time they do a show now, they're able to monetize it in some degree. For the most part, they're able to draw, on the road. Sometimes it'll swing, and we can talk about that in a little bit in terms of like how they do in Atlantic City this time, Detroit, Los Angeles, excuse me. Sometimes those shows will sell out. Sometimes they'll struggle a little bit, but for the most part, they'll do better. But I think whenever they hit the road, it'd be profitable, because I think it would be very hard to sustain if it wasn't, as far as we understand about the ownership. And then, the Fight Plus, however that's structured, every time they're putting content in, I'd assume that's, a way of making additional monies, even if it's not like a pay-per-view cost per show, whatever the structure is with Fight. So, their other means of distribution are, so minuscule as compared to an Impact, like their YouTube channel, where they put some content on there, that sort of thing. So GCW has that buzz where they can sell merchandise, they could sell tickets, people are willing to pay for it on Fight Plus, whereas Impact sort of has that television distribution and that social media or video presence. So like they're both so different. So you could really make an argument for either. I would say like a lot of Impacts is like sort of like legacy media. I mean, not like super legacy, but like just benefiting from who they were, like YouTube. Whereas GCW like has that buzz and can sort of, in the right context, can like make money, like with merchandise, with ticket sales, and so on, to a relative